Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Saturday night. I put my headphones in the last second. Thank you. Fancy titles. Yeah, production values are stepping up on this show. I actually played the bit of music a bit too early, so when this turned on, you actually caught, I think, the last 5 seconds of the song. So hope you enjoyed it. So thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in again tonight. Really excited to be doing this. This is the fourth show. This is incredibly exciting. We have an amazing guest tonight. Also, what's really cool is I love how we set up the whole thing of Shit Club on yesterday's show. So Shit Club is basically going to start being a place where we can collect all of the interesting shit that we have on single threads. I asked you at the end of last show, can anyone think of anything interesting that they owned? And a few people actually sent some stuff in. I'll quickly show you a few of my favorites here. So check this out. We've got, this was sent in by someone called Sheep and Tea. This is a wall calendar from 1919 of Ferdinand Foch. He was a big general. He was a military guy. He was known as an amazing military strategist. You probably won't too much know about all his other stuff, but you might be aware of one other thing that he did, which was he was the person who was famous for being quoted. And this is a guy who was a military strategist saying airplanes are interesting toys, but of no military value. He was the guy who said, don't eat them. Can't see how it's going to work out. So that's really cool. So yeah, a really exciting 1919, and then it's all the months at the bottom there that you flick through. So that's April 1919. Awesome calendars. I mean, calendars used to be like that. I don't know if you guys have seen, you can actually find there was a J.R.R. Tolkien calendar. Beautiful. He's sitting under an apple tree in the front, all in his tweed. Highly recommend you guys checking that out. Another thing that was sent in, which I really enjoy. Let's go back to the screen. Check this out. Another great entry from Shit Club. This is a firefighter's mask with technology that has the ability to help you use thermals basically, so that you can see where the heat is inside the house, so you can see all the little patches come up, kind of like Predator, and just work out where the fire is. So this was sent in by Oana Sakara, and Oana, very, very cool. She actually helped in the prototype of making the application work so that firefighters could use that. So I think that's like a camera on the side that was able to do it. And this is the prototype that they built, and the prototype is still in her house. She asked her boss if she could have it, and they said yes, so she's kept it. And what's particularly cool about this is she doesn't have a thermometer in her house, so anytime she has a headache, she actually just uses it to tell herself whether or not she's got a headache and she's got a high fever. How cool is that? So awesome opening entries to Shit Club. Really appreciate you guys sending it. And I know that Erica's out there. As people have been trying to help her to get back onto the show. If anyone can work out how to give her some advice, this is the first time she's done an Instagram Live. What exciting news can I tell you before she arrives into the show? So Shit Club, let's keep it going. We need maybe a different name, Crap Club, or, exposing your privates, your private collections. If anyone can think of a good idea, maybe we'll leave that on the Instagram. I'll just do a nice little sign after the show. And upcoming guests. We'll quickly talk about upcoming guests. So tomorrow night, I haven't booked anyone yet, but Monday night, we're going to have Jamie Morton, which is very exciting. So he's the host of My Dad Wrote a Porno. He has so many incredible things. And he's already told me some of them, so I'm very excited for that. Then on Tuesday, we are going to be joined by Jane Milligan. And Jane Milligan is the daughter of Spike Milligan. And she has all this archive of his stuff sitting in her attic, and she was cleaning out her attic today, so she messaged me and said, I've got a lot of amazing stuff. So we'll be seeing Goon Show stuff, we'll be seeing Peter Sellers stuff, we can just ask questions about the man himself. If you're into British comedy, even if you're not into British comedy, I promise that will be utterly fascinating. So the person we're talking to tonight, though, has arrived, so let's bring her in. This curator of flies at the Natural History Museum in London. Hey, yes!
Hello.
Nice, well done. It's a nightmare, isn't it, when you haven't done this before? Hey, cheers. Very good to see you. Welcome to the
Like,
show.
it's just like, so we now have the Zoom, House Party, Skype, Microsoft Teams. It's like everything.
Yeah,
And my God, how we are barely like at the tech age. How my parents are coping with all of this kind of crazy shenanigans. It's like, but hello, welcome to my shed.
yeah, this is exciting. Is this where you do your work? Is this outside of the house? This is your space?
Right, right. Can you see down the garden? Where's the garden gone? Can you see? That's my house. Well, that's my,
Okay,
and this is my little shed. So there's my microscope,
that is
and
so cool.
that, and that's my partner's record. This is
Oh,
mum,
wow.
and this is crap. Which you know when you've got to sort things out,
Yep.
that's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about this. I
Oh,
love that everyone has a room like this. So everyone we've spoken to so far. So I'll just quickly throw us in. There's a lot of people who are joining us at the top here. So everybody who's joining us now, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Show Us Your Shit, or some Shakespeare, a pair of pajamas, and a mutton chop. And I'll explain that to you later, Erica, at the end of the show. This is a show where we ask interesting people to show us their interesting shit. We're all staying at home at the moment. We're all surrounded by the stuff that we've collected our entire lifetimes. Why not show it to everyone? So we're visiting tonight Erica MACALISTER in her shed. There's 108 of us at the moment, 109, including me, who are now stepping into the shed. And this is someone Erica and I first met years and years ago. I think it would have been about 2011 or something like that, when you guested on Museum of Curiosity. And I was looking for interesting people to come on the show. And I asked someone who worked at the Natural History Museum, and she immediately said, well, there's only one person to get on the show. It's our curator of flies. And that is the coolest sentence in its own right. And we've been buddies ever since. So thanks so much for doing this. So first item on Show Us Your Shit. What are you going to show us?
so I keep forgetting about this because I got this about, I don't know. I did a Radio 4 series called Who's the Pest, and basically it was go around and interview all. You know how you get to interview really cool people. I got to interview really cool entomologists. So I was in nerd heaven.
All
And
right.
were looking at sniffer bees. And so this is where you train bees to sniff out explosives, drugs, all sorts of things. Because their
Wow.
sensitivity is so much higher than a dog. The particulate matter, their PPP, whatever, so much greater. Plus, you can train them in about 5 minutes, unlike however many years, 8 months to train a dog.
Yeah,
And
but your dog doesn't fly away though. How do you contain the bee? Oh, what is that?
that is a capsule with a bee's head poking out of it.
What?
It's just the best thing. I forget about this. Right, you know those portable vacuum cleaners you get in cars? You know those little like, ooh, yeah. Right,
Yeah,
imagine one of those, and imagine 30 little bee capsules like this.
right.
And what you do, and I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the tongue sticking out?
Yes. What is
Right.
that, a bee tongue? Are we looking at the bee's head there?
Yeah, you've got a bee's head, so the head
Right.
stuck out, and you've got the bee's tongue. What you do is that you train, you release a load of pheromones, and you train whatever the chemical is you want. So if you want TNT, or if you want cannabis, or if you want cocaine, whatever, you put that in this little pheromone. And so when they suddenly oh, hold on, they taste it, they automatically stick their tongue out to see what's going on. And the thing is, in this little vacuum cleaner, you've got a laser beam, and you've got 30 of these little bees. And if they're all 30 stick their tongues out, it breaks the laser beam, so they know definitely that the
No.
drugs or the cannabis or whatever or the explosive is there. So you can go and you can do this. And I don't know why it hasn't quite taken off yet because it is so amazing. And after the bees have done a day's work, you just release them. So it's not like they're going to die or anything. Like they just get trained within a day. They do their work and they go.
That is extraordinary. So it's enough tongues to break the laser is that's a definite bust.
There's a where's the book? Oh, there's a book called Insects and Warfare. Oh, here you go.
Right.
Right, because everybody needs this book, right?
Six-legged soldiers. Okay.
How we use insects in warfare, which is a great read, okay? Because we've been using insects, like we said, in World War II there were flea bombs.
How
So
did that work?
Japan bombed China with flea bombs.
Okay. And so what? And just to get them itchy?
Yeah. Oh, no, also had the plague.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, or maybe it was the Chinese. I don't know. A whole bottle of prosecco is not helping me do this.
Yeah. Can I just quickly ask? You said that you were earlier tonight doing a cocktail party with other curators from the Natural History Museum over Skype. So that happened, did it? So are you pissed right now? Because I'm a bit drunk. I've been drinking all day.
No, not at all. No, we obviously we discussed various serious science matters the entire night.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
it was one of them. It turns out one of my colleagues looked like she has a Florence Nightingale bed. Anyway, she was lying in bed, and it was like, "Honey, do you do this for work Skype?" And she's like, "No, I have a different room." I don't know how you've done it, but all of us are very conscious that suddenly all our colleagues were seeing our houses and seeing all our. So everyone's trying to figure out which is the best place to put the laptop.
Yeah.
To look professional when Skyping.
Yes.
And it's like, so we were discussing what to do with various rooms and whatever, and nosing around each other's apartments, which was great fun. And I was talking about doing this, so they were getting out all the weird stuff that they have.
Oh, wow.
One of the ladies I was talking to tonight was Miranda, and I don't know if you know Miranda Lowe. She's
I don't think so.
Crustacea.
She's a what, sorry?
Queen of Crustacea.
Oh, Queen of Crustacea, right. Wow, cool. What did she have?
She had crabs. No, she didn't. So she had all sorts of, she keeps given random stuff as well. We all get given random gifts. Like I got given a medal. Which is from the Joint Science and Technology Office, Chemical and Biological Defense. And it's a medal in recognition of excellence by the director. Right, yeah. Some American turned up for a tour, and he put it in my hand and went, as he said goodbye, and left the medal behind.
Oh,
and
cool.
Have I just joined a weird club?
Yeah, you have. I'm sorry.
Oh, have I joined?
I don't know, but I'm sure we'll find out very soon when we see you in the papers.
Am I now in the Biological Warfare Club?
Oh my God, the Six-Legged Soldier Club. Yes, that's so cool. I love there's a lot of questions coming up. One question is you've just shown us this little drug busting bee cabinet which has lasers and uses tongues. What kind is it? A specific kind of bee that you need to use? Is the question that's being asked?
Honeybee. So they train them at honeybee.
Honeybee, right?
Because it's just any because the honeybees have got quite. They're easy to get. Okay,
right.
They're go and get them, so you can just bring them in. But I'm sure you can use many. I don't want to just endorse one insect here, but you need an insect that actually sticks out a tongue, and they lap up nectar, so they are sticking out tongues. So it wouldn't work on something like a fly. You couldn't train the flies because they don't have a mouth part the same way.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's so amazing. We did a thing ages ago about, and this was on our fish podcast, how in America, when they were doing bomb detecting devices, someone invented the end of a bomb detecting device to have the snout of a nose. And the way that it was trying to smell out certain things, when they used it with the snout, it worked better in every single circumstance. Have you heard of that thing? Sounds like I've just made it up.
I think I have.
Yeah, I'll go back and check that. That definitely sounds like I've just made that up.
Like insects have a phenomenal sense of smell because their nose is their antennae. A fly can turn up to a dead body within a very short space of time.
Yes.
Even buried the body, even if it's like a couple of kilometers away. They're able to. There's a group of flies that are called the truffle flies. So they naturally will. So you don't have to have a truffle pig or a truffle dog. You can go hunting truffle flies. So because they will hover around the males, will aggregate over the truffle because that's where the lady needs to go to lay her eggs. So if you are a good truffle hunter, you know you want your white truffle. I think it's the white truffle. You can go and look for these flies, and they're the truffles underneath it. So everything about them, they're ultra sensitive, which makes them really good at doing this sort of detectorism.
That's incredible. I can't believe we haven't had an animated series where it's just a group of insects solving crimes, stopping bombs, busting drugs.
So
Like
2,000 years ago, insects were solving crime. They are the original mini detectives. So the first case was a recorded case was in China, and it was about a traveling medicine man, and he went to a village, and I don't know how good are you. Am I okay to say hacked to death?
yeah.
One of the peasant farmers was hacked to death by a machete, and the villagers were like, please help us, can you solve this crime? And this guy was very learned, and he also knew about flies. So he said, okay, everyone get your machetes, all the villagers get your machetes and stand in front of them. And it was a hot day. So after, oh, look, there's a little fly. Oh, hello.
That is a terrifying room for a fly to be in when you've got your microscopes there. Although you are the friend of the flies, so I think it's fine.
Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. But anyway, so all the villagers stand in front of the machetes, and in about 10 minutes' time, suddenly all the flies go to one machete. Because although the villager thought it cleaned it all the blood, he will leave residue, and the flies can smell it.
Yes.
He incriminated him, bish bash bosh. The peasant was like, oh my God, this is magic, how did you do it? I admitted everything. And then they killed him.
That's extraordinary. How long ago?
2,000 years ago?
2,000.
1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago.
Right. I mean, still, that's incredible. Just very quickly for people who are joining us, because people are always coming in and out of this. This is a show called Show Us Your Shit, and we're asking interesting people sitting at home to just show us the most interesting shit that they have. And we're talking to Erica McAllister, who is the fly curator, senior fly curator at the Natural History Museum.
So sadly, I made a shit compaction device, which I have never kept, but I should have, which would have been appropriate for this.
Oh, that is a shame. But you've got so much other stuff. Can you give us a second object? Can we move on to object number 2?
I have a bottle of poison.
What?
Yes.
That's fake though, right? That's not a.
I think it's ammonia. It was left after a party that loads of the curators came back to mine, and I think passing it on to another curator for, I don't know, for something else, and so they labelled it like this to make sure no one drank it. Can I say that? This is terrible.
Yeah, we've got to. I am so worried. I'm so surprised that, given how candid you are about your job, that actually you haven't ever been fired. You always say, I'm probably going to be fired for this, and you just never are. What's going on?
Because I'm a good fly person.
You
Flies.
Oh, what's this?
These are my flies.
These are your personal favorite flies, or?
Some of the, as every good fly person carries around little flies. Look at that one.
Yep.
Look at the eye stalks on it.
Yeah. That the handlebars. That's its eye stalks. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a bonk. I'm sorry. There's some foxes having sex in the garden. So noisy. Okay, I'll carry on. So they oh my God, they're being, can you not hear that?
I can't hear that. Can anyone down in the comments hear it? We could just go outside and, no, that's a bit voyeuristic. That feels a bit weird. Oh yeah.
Fox sex never sounds pleasant.
No, it sounds horrific.
Okay, I'm going to go back to flies because that was just like, oh, dramatic. So they headbutt, or, well, they don't. They will check out each other's size. So this is a male. This is Achaeus rothschildii, named after the Rothschild. Because the Rothschilds, when they weren't bankers, they were entomologists.
Really?
Charles Rothschild, whose parents bought him a bloody zoo when he was 21. So I've had a lot of talks with my parents, and his brother Walter Rothschild was the one who was bought at a zoo and was very famous for Lepidoptera, butterflies, and other stuff. And he's the one who's seen riding around the back of a giant tortoise.
Oh yes, yeah. I know that image. Yeah.
Walter Rothschild and his brother Charles Rothschild, who's my favourite, because it's really bad.
That's really loud. I can hear it there.
Charles Rothschild described 500 species of fleas. So
Right.
he was, yeah, you know, you could see him, like the family are like, come on, we want you to go to banking. He's like, no, fleas. Fleas is where I want to be. But he described the oriental rat flea, which was one of the major vectors of the plague. So at work, we've got the oriental, we got the type specimen of it. So it's like, this is the most important flea in the world.
This is it's had the most impact globally on, wow. You said to me earlier, so this might be throwing us to a new item quite quickly, but you have in the room that you're sitting in right now, undescribed species of fly that science is not aware of. So basically, Erica goes out hunting for flies as well. She travels the world looking for flies with another curator friend who looks for potatoes. So it's just potatoes and flies. They go out every day. They look for that and they look for flies and they show what they have at the end of the day. So what is this?
This is a drawer. It's bubble wrapped at the moment because I have to be very careful about pests.
Right.
It is Mussidae. And Mussidae are house flies. And houseflies, so you think with houseflies, we've just got to dead the housefly out because, hey, they're called houseflies to hang around. But we have about 22 new species to science from Dominica. So I go, thank you, taxpayers. I'm not going this year, though. I go to Dominica for the last 5 years, and I go sweep, and catch and whatever. And I bring back loads. These are jars and jars. I've got jars and jars of insects. And what I do, first of all, I separate the beetles, the Lepidoptera, and the bees and everything else. And I get rid of all the boring stuff. And I send the curators doing that. And then I just have the flies. And I'm like, yeah, now I get into the fun stuff. And then in my little lab, I separate them all into families. And then I work on the families. And this family of housefly, my colleague, who's like the dude of houseflies, he's like, Erica, like that's new. And so right now, I'm he and I are writing a paper to describe all these new species to science. Once we finish that family, we're moving on to the parasite flies. And again, there's loads of new species to science. So in this room, with all the little jars in it, there could be hundreds of new species to science.
That is incredible. Whoa, sorry, I got so excited I knocked my phone off. Are you going to name them after, you?
You
Is it going to be the MACALISTer?
We're not.
You can't?
No. You'd never do that. Apparently, some Americans have. But
yeah, because there's like Beyonce flies and Trump flies and.
My friend Brian, he's like my
really?
My fly husband. He Australian version of me, except for he's way better looking because he's so gay and he could do it much more of a plum. And I'm like, damn him. So he found a horsefly with a big golden bottom. So he was like, do you know what? Who else has a big golden bottom? Beyonce. So he named this fly after Beyonce. He's not as good as my friend Brian Brown, who works in California. He named the smallest fly in the world after Arnold Schwarzenegger because it's got really massive arms.
Yes, I've seen it. We wrote about it in our fish book, our first No Such Thing as a Fish book. We put in, and it does. It's like this buff looking fly, absolutely shredded. Yeah. Wow, that's so funny. But why can't you do that then? Why can't you decide to name it after whatever you want?
I'm gonna. There's a few people I'm gonna wanna. I'm gonna name them. We're gonna name them after where we've either collected or something about them. Without giving too much away, one of the flies has got really hairy legs, and I'm gonna name that after my friend for her wedding. But a little bit feral.
That's so interesting. I actually, bizarrely, I know someone else who has had an insect named after them for their wedding as well. Is this a thing that entomologists do? It's just a cheap wedding present. Just go through your shed, find an undescribed species.
It's honey, right? It's a wedding present for life. What would you rather have, a toaster or an insect named after you?
I want the insect. All I'm thinking is I screwed up not inviting more entomologists to my wedding because I ended up with toasters. I've got 3 of them.
And not a single insect.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, foolish.
Yeah. This is the guy who has
your
it
wife's
is
very nice. I don't want you to have another wedding.
no, we already had 2 because by accident we won a wedding after we'd booked our actual wedding. And so we had it 2 days apart. We had 2 weddings. We had our actual wedding, and then we had this bonus free wedding that we won in a magazine because they didn't let us give it to anyone else. And they said we couldn't just take the buddy. So we're like, all right, second wedding, 2 days apart. It was very fun. But again, screwed up. No entomologist came. So okay, that's amazing. So there could be a ton of flies. Just very quickly, I'll just remind anyone new who's coming in right now. This is a show called Show Us Your Shit. The idea is that all of us are stuck at home right now around the things that we have been collecting our entire life. So I thought it'd be interesting for us to peek into the houses of interesting people and see what shit they have. And tonight we're talking to Erica MACALISTER, the fly curator at the Natural History Museum. You're known as Fly Girl at the museum as well, aren't you? Like everyone in their own category has Crustacean Man or
Crustacea. That's Miranda. And then there's
Miranda, of course.
Fish Boys. There's Batman.
There's Batman. There's an actual Batman at the museum. That's so cool.
He's lovely.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, Spider Woman. You know, there's
Spider Woman. That's awesome.
Found quite as cool. Some lend themselves better. Algae Queen. She's not quite, you know, old title.
Is it a useful way of, because there must be so many colleagues there, that this was invented by someone who was incredibly forgetful about names and just started going, hey, Fly Girl, instead of...
Well, no. Twitter all started all that. But the thing is about that we're generally quite useless at humans. So I have a really, when I go into an event, and everyone goes, hi, Erica, and I'm like, hi. And it's obvious that I have no idea. I've forgotten everything. And so she goes, oh, I'm really sorry. Erica's really rude. My name is so-and-so. And I'm like, oh. And then I have to try and remember how I know you. Because it's like, so I have a whole level. I have face blind and everything. And if you are a binomial insect, I'll be like, I know who you are. And I can recognize you.
Yeah.
But as a like, I have to kind of, and if you're out of
Do you
context,
Right. I went to so very lucky as a result of doing QI and doing Museum of Curiosity that there's been a few times where I've been taken around the back rooms of the museum, which is always a phenomenal thing. The fish area is incredible. They've got, just for anyone who doesn't know this, they have things like tanks. Because there's so many fish, they have to just lump them all together in one big tank. And you open it up and there are sharks in there that are basically, there's like, oh, the guy who showed it to us said, oh, there's only 3 of these that have ever been seen in the world, and one of them's in this tank right here.
Sturgeon's head is enormous. You've got a shark that was delivered to the museum in a suitcase. So the shark is that shape, which is always fun. I was like, look, there's a cedar camp. There's a little bit of like you know, and then there's a Komodo dragon, and then there's a massive, the giant salamanders, which are like, I'm sorry, giant salamanders are ugly. There's something.
Agreed.
It's the loose, floppy skin. It's really quite phallic. I don't. It makes me feel quite delicate.
Yeah, no, I'm not into them either. Do you know, there was a really cool shark that I saw in the tank where the curator showed us, there was a strip of its skin that was missing. So this was a dead shark, so it wasn't harmed during its life. And it was that Nike, I think, had come. Yes, exactly. They'd come to try and make swim shorts that were going to be fastest for the Olympic swimmers, and they took this little square.
So it's really interesting. They're doing a lot of bio-inspired. We get a lot of engineers and architects and all sorts of people coming in now to look at the collection. So it's not just scientists using it for biodiversity, for understanding everything else. There's all these secondary things going on. So we look at refraction patterns. So I'll get a fly out again just to. So I've just seen a really cute fly. It's just sidetracked me. I'll get you the world's cutest fly.
Oh, it's fluffy.
Yeah, so fluffy. But I was meant to be talking serious, but I got sidetracked because it was so fluffy. Their wings, if under infrared, they are completely different. And so we're looking at their refraction properties. And the thing about like spiders' webs, why birds don't fly into spiders' webs, because when the birds see them, their reflective properties are very different. And so we're now designing windows, panes of glass, to have the same refractive properties on a spider's web to stop birds flying into them.
Wow, cool.
But it's all these different ways that people are now beginning to look at nature, properly understand nature, and realize how well it works. So how we as humans can stop being such dicks.
Yeah.
Technical term.
Yeah. That's extraordinary. What's the name of that fly that you just showed us? Sorry, the fluffy one.
This is Anastericus. It's a bee fly. It's a little bee fly.
And that's not one of your discoveries, is it? Is that a long known about fly?
This fly was collected in 1966 in South Africa.
Wow, that's awesome. So how come you have it? Are you studying it at home, or is this just you sort of?
No, this is a box of flies I take round for talks.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Of course.
Flies
just quickly on the guys. What's this?
It's a bat fly.
A bat fly.
Yeah, these are the ones that give birth to live young. They're weird. She has internal lactating glands. She's got tits on the inside.
Amazing.
On these things.
That's so good.
Last time about your sperm.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask? There was a guy I met on the back scenes of the museum, and I don't know who it is, but I reckon that if I give you a description, you might be able to go, "Oh, it's Mummified Man," because he was the coolest guy, right? We'd left. I was on the tour with a friend there, and we went to see him. I just had no idea what his area was because there were so many different things that he was talking about. But he came walking down towards us, and he had parted blonde hair. He looked like a blonde version of Professor Snape. He was all dressed in black, but he had this long hair. He stopped in front of us and he went, "There are over 200,000 different items here, so look, let's begin," and turned around and walked off. And it was just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And he had mummified cats that he was showing us, like Egyptian mummified cats. Does this ring any bells? The Professor Snape who's highlighted his hair?
I think you're over in paleo. Okay, if you're talking about mummified cats, he's in the dead zone. So we're the dead.
Right.
He's the dead.
He's the dead, right?
I don't know. You're paleo. I don't know who that is. Because the mummified cats, they've been micro CT scanning. So you know what a micro CT scan is?
It's a small CT scan for cat size things.
Tiny little things.
Right. Okay.
We've been CT scanning the mummified cats and things like that to see what's going on. But I CT scan the thorax of a mosquito to look at their muscles. And obviously I scan their genitalia because I'm a fly person. We're obsessed by genitalia. So I have loads of like softporn videos of mosquitoes.
Hey, but so we should explain this. I happen to have heard you talk about this before, but the way that you can tell species of fly apart is by the way is their genitalia, right? That's the bit you have to look for.
I professionally fiddle with genitalia. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a job role, yeah. And
And don't you?
with small genitalia.
Yeah, I seem to remember you telling me that if you ever feel down, you have photos that you look at of what is it again? Is it the bottoms of flies? Something like
Oh
that.
my. Yeah, hold on. Right. These are the anal spiracles of crayfish larvae.
Right. Of what? Sorry, of larvae.
Crane fly larvae.
Right. So these are the anuses that we're looking at of flies. Erica, just while you're holding that up, just for anyone that's just joined, welcome to Show Us Your Shit. And we are looking at something that is almost literally shit. It's just the device to let it out. Oh, that's your book. That's show everyone your book very quickly.
Yeah.
Your camera's breaking up a tiny bit, so I'm sorry I'm missing a few things that you're saying. But yeah, so this is your book. Amazing.
But these are the anal spiracles because maggots breathe out of their bottoms.
Yeah.
Their mouth. It makes way more sense. You know, why put two things when one could do? And so they have, I mean, they do little like Tamagotchi faces.
Yeah.
I know, they're so cute.
And you look at those when you're feeling down just to perk you back up.
Like you can go into your garden and you can dig up crane fly larvae and you can turn it round and look at its bottom and there's a little smiley face. You know, that's nice.
That is good. What's the book title is being asked by Emma Govan. The Secret Life of Flies. Yes. And that came out a few years ago, right? That was like 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, book 2's coming out in September.
Amazing. What's that about?
Flies.
Should have clocked that. Yep. Should have known. Yeah, this is very exciting. Why don't we move on to our next item? So if you're joining us just now, welcome to Show Us Your Shit. Erica MACALISTER is showing us all of her shit. She's the fly curator of the Natural History Museum.
Well, the thing is, people give me presents a lot, and generally, I get some nice presents, really nice presents. Somebody made this. It's a crane fly. In fact, it was from the book. I'll find the page. Should have set this up earlier, shouldn't I? Didn't think about being organised. Anyway, it's in the book. But this is a beautiful crane fly, and somebody made this. You know, it's out of it's felt wonderful. But other people give me stuff that is a little bit odd. Like these are food bags with flies on.
Okay.
Serviettes with flies on.
Nice.
And then especially
very cool.
You're showing your shit.
Toilet
paper with flies on.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool.
So in fact, I've got 3 rolls of toilet paper with flies on. And when we were having all the toilet paper like lockdown thing, I was like, oh, but you know, I could
time to get it out.
Fly toilet paper. But
yes.
I haven't yet. I love the fact that it's got this emergency like open. But and then I got this is actually personal because this is a Natural History Museum tea towel.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. Now we made, can you see that?
Yeah, the fly danger.
So
it's hard to read, it's backwards.
Is it backwards?
It's backwards for us, you're mirrored.
So basically, we made a lot of public health. We did a lot of galleries into war and First World War, Second World War, trying to tell the UK to look after themselves. And one of the things was to try and talk about all the pests that people will come across and how they can, you know, there's a war going on, there's a load of crap going on, look after yourselves. And so we put up all these fly posters. And I can't tell you this bit. Okay. In private, remind me one day to tell you what somebody in publishing did to one of these posters. But I'm not going to tell you now. But it's very funny. But it's a really nice, sensible outreach and whatever. about fly danger, and it was and all these beautiful things, and it's like cover all food and be careful and don't, otherwise you'll die. And here's how to kill it, and it's all rather dramatic. Like the NHM nowadays, no offense, and I know they won't mind me saying it, we're very much more hippie. It's like, yeah, everyone just generally be careful and look after yourself. Like 1920s NHM was like, no, don't do it, you'll die, everything. And it was like, oh,
Right.
there's like in the 90s, we used to put dead elephants on the lawn so that they could decompose, so we could have their skeleton. It's like, okay.
Well, when was that? The 1920s?
There's a beautiful, the dude of entomology. Where's his book? Just talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. How amazing is this, guys? This is the most awesome shed I've ever seen.
I'll find the book. I'm getting inside.
Yeah. By the way, everyone who's watching, if you can think, I'm gonna try and coax out some. I've heard some rumors about the NHM that I'm gonna try and coax out of Erica. I bet you're not gonna tell me any answers to them. But if anyone's got any questions about life at the NHM, get them up here.
By the way, my friend, I do this thing with this Cambridge pollination group for Olympia, and they made beers. There's the rat tail maggot beer, the hoverfly amber ale.
Cool.
The bee fly pale ale. I mean, just my favorite beers. And then somebody needs to sponsor them so we can drink maggot ale. How much?
Where are they from? Who are they?
Olympia. They are
right.
They're a pollination group. And they are. I'll give you some more information on them.
Okay, cool. Hey, Erica, just very quickly. So a question's come up, which is it true that curators have parties in the whale at the Natural History Museum? So this is that gigantic blue whale model, which I actually wanted to ask you about that as well, because I've heard sordid things about that. You're not saying? Oh, okay. Well, I'll say what I've heard from reading books about the Natural History Museum. So there's the giant blue whale, and apparently underneath it there is a trap door.
The model.
Sorry?
And it's a blue
it's a model.
Whale, larger than life whale, and yes, there is a trap door in it.
Yes, and apparently, so when they were building it and building stuff at the time, there's a lot of stuff that's left over, so it's a bit of a time capsule. But one of the things that was in there apparently was a mattress where randy curators could go to. This is what I've been told by people I've met over the years. So there's a dirty mattress in there. There's lots of magazines, and parties used to happen in there. But you can't say anything. So that's cool. That's fine. That's fine. It's just what I've heard. Yeah, isn't there a really cool story about because you guys have crazy parties there, right? When you have like Halloween and stuff, like just locked in curator parties.
We had to stop a lot of parties.
Oh, really? Okay.
Institution for a reason. We are odd people because we like our subject. We get very involved. We had to stop the role playing club, because somebody in paleo killed somebody in entomology, and she refused to deal with paleo, and it escalated. And so the NHM went, nope, there's no longer going to be a role-playing club because you can't handle it. Like, quite obsessive.
Right. So no more parties. That sucks.
Apparently there used to be roller skating. How cool would that be?
That would have been incredible.
There used to be badminton in the main hall.
Really?
Yeah. It's over Dippy. Woo.
Over Dippy.
I don't know. There used to be loads, but the rumours and the stories are quite extreme.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you about any of our parties.
No, I appreciate that. I realize that's behind closed doors. It's the curator's code. But there were, the curators, there was that great book by Richard Fortey, which was Dry Storeroom number 20 or something like that. Yeah, 21.
No,
number one. Yeah, that's it.
But it's so innocent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was, and again, we'd spoken about this, I think, on Fish, maybe even when you were on, but there was that one curator who used to collect a single pubic hair of all of his conquests, and they found that in his...
No, I don't mind telling you this one. He was
Right.
a botanist. That's all I'm saying, he's a botanist. And those little record cards, he would have a score, and he would tape a pubic hair to it, give a score, and whatever. And there was quite a collection of these, which is extraordinary. I've still never seen a photo of what this man looks like, because no offense, but I can't. I don't know. It's just amazing, but it exists. It's in the museum. So
Yeah, that's so cool. And then there was the guy who was testing out the diving bell costume, and he accidentally locked himself in and couldn't get himself out. So he had to walk down the high street of South Kensington to try and convince someone to help him pull off this like iron giant original diving costume. I mean, it sounds like I bet it's still the same. It's just you guys have all got to die, and then 50 years later, we're going to hear it. Like it's going to come out one day.
Like everything about it is that you forget that your work is like weird. I'm dating a civilian, so it makes it really handy. So, a civilian, because then at least you got your toe in the real world, and I know how because there's loads of things that I do that I forget are not. Like there was a dead animal in the tree, and I was very excited, so I tweeted it, going, "Is this a dead rat? Why is it in a tree? Is this being puked out by a bird?" And I put it down on the table in front of him, and he was like, "I'm sorry, what is this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. This is why it's very exciting. Just ask Twitter, because I don't do mammals, but I can't tell whether this is regurgitated or it's mummified." And his face was not pleased by either of those comments. And he was just like, can you our breakfast? I know, but darling, I've got to find out about this thing. And I feel that I've been pretty much I don't know what's the word, I've got a toe in society, but there's a lot of kids who got absolutely nothing. They're completely, and the idea of doing anything like this, they're like, no.
Yeah.
Why would I want that?
Yeah.
But they're fascinating, and the stories and everything that they. Okay, I'll give you a classic example of an NHM party. This is many years ago, and I would change all the names. But my then partner turned up at this party, and the first conversation he had was with a curator who spent half an hour telling him about the different types of glue that we use for insect mounting. And it depended on what insect and what type of mounting to what glue was to be used. And he went through all the different types of glue, whether they were suitable for DNA testing afterwards, blah, blah. My partner then was like, wow. We then went to the pub afterwards, and another curator was going on about, I've just been dumped by my girlfriend. But it was okay, we were in Greece, and I found a really rare species that I hadn't found before, so it was amazing. And it's just everything. And it was like, okay. And then the third person he spoke to just basically went on about every beetle on the planet. And my friend came away going, yep, pretty much what I expected for you lot. And I'm like, yeah, it was pretty bad example, really. Like us trying to be normal.
Yeah.
So,
that's my kind of party. That sounds perfect.
That's it. You
yeah.
Totally on. You would just go, tell me about glue.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get another object. I love this comment that was mentioned before, but I haven't been able to bring it up. Earlier today, I was talking to Ash Gardner, who's on the forums down here. He's talking to everyone down there. He and I were talking, going, it would be great if we could try and work out how to turn something of this show into a drinking game. And someone has just suggested every time I reintroduce the title and the format and the guest, as I've been doing the whole way through, that's when you down a drink. Well, not down it, but you have a big old sip. So let's do that anytime I reintroduce it. So I am going to do it right now. Anyone who's joining us right now, welcome to Show Us Your Shit. This is a show where we look at interesting stuff from interesting people who are sat at home right now through the isolation, surrounded in the stuff they've been collecting all their lives. And today we're talking to Erica McAllister, who is the fly curator at the Natural History Museum. So Erica, something I've got to quickly say, the way that this Instagram thing works is that it only lasts for an hour and then it will cut off. And what we've been doing each night is we've been hitting the hour, cutting off for a minute, and then I turn it back on and everyone comes back and you come back and we do it for about 15 more minutes. Are you cool with that? Have you got time to do that?
So I do exactly what I did before.
Yeah, exactly what you did before. So I'll stop us in about 5 minutes and we can just turn it off and come back. Or in fact, you need to top up your drink, right? It might be a good moment right now.
It's to my partner in the house.
You what, sorry?
I've just sent a message to my partner in the house. Well, I could do the last 15 minutes in the flat because actually there's some things I should show you.
Okay, well, why don't we reconvene in, let's say, 2 minutes, everyone. If you still want to join us, 2 minutes, we'll reconvene. I'll start the video again, and Erica will be back. Okay, let's do that. See you in 2 minutes, gang.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome back. I'll do a quick welcome back to everyone as well who's watching, and this will be your first chance to have a proper drink using our new drinking system. Hello, welcome to the final part of Show Us Your Shit, or some Shakespeare, a pair of pajamas, and a mutton chop. This is a show where we ask interesting people to show us interesting stuff while they're stuck at home, surrounded in it during this isolation period. We're joined by Erica McAllister, who is the fly curator for the Natural History Museum in London, and she has been showing us some pretty extraordinary stuff. If you want to find out what that was, watch the video because it's going to be posted, and then get to this bit, or just watch this bit now and then go back and sort that out later. So, Erica, let's do this. We're in a new place here. Where are we?
I'm in my flat.
Nice.
Now, everyone, I collect flies, obviously, but there's something else I do because I go around all the world. Oh, I have a real bad thing for magnets.
Oh, wow. Yes. Oh.
Right? And I ran out of fridge. I then moved on to the boiler.
Holy shit. That is a lot of magnets.
Yeah, right. I'm going to pick out a personal favourite because favourite. Now, this is very UK orientated because people in the UK know where Bognor is, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have you been to Bognor?
I've not, but I know of it because of Bugger Bognor.
What's about Bognor? What do you know about it?
I know that phrase Bugger Bognor, which was by someone famous. I know nothing about it. I was trying to start that out, but have no idea where it is.
Top of Bognor, and it's got dolphins jumping over a sunset. Now, okay, you have a limited knowledge of Bognor. That's it.
That's not it.
Isn't it? That is advertising done well. Like Jersey have got it, and Tasmania, but they don't mean anything in comparison to Bognor.
Right. Hey, Erica, just very quickly, so Vent.Mark has said it's George V, who it was. But this is just who said Bugger Bognor. And it's just reminded me, one of the times that you and I have been on stage together was at the Natural History Museum doing a live Museum of Curiosity. You were one of the guests, right? And you were on with the ex-Sea Lord, Alan West.
Still is the top dude. I still have utter respect. I think if there was like a little hero, he is it. Because I thought I had good stories. No, this dude, every time I said, oh yeah, and so, and a maggot crawled out of my arse, blah, blah, and he goes, yes, interestingly. But it reminded me of the time when I was floating an armada down.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, God, mate. He was interesting.
He ran the Navy and he was in the Falkland Wars. And he told the most British story about how when his ship was going down, they'd been hit and they were going down. And the idea was that he gave the order for everyone to abandon ship. And he was just talking about the Britishness of his soldiers, was standing next to him as the ship was going down and he'd given the order for everyone to leave, was his assistant holding a cup of tea for him, and he said, "What are you doing? I told you to get off the ship." And the guy said, "But sir, it's tea time." He was still there with a cup of tea in his hand, ready to help this guy out. But so do you remember that night we were talking about one of the subjects? We were on stage. I think it was John Lloyd, you, me, and possibly Dave Gorman, I think, was on with us. Yeah, on that panel. And I started reading out a fact. So this is going to George V. I started reading out a fact about Louis XVI. But on the page, it said Louis the XV1, which I didn't know what number that was, because for some reason, I just don't really know those Roman numericals. Do you not remember? I had to like nudge you with my elbow to try and get you to help me say what it was. And I was pointing it going, Louis the, and instead of helping me to a room of 600 people, you went, "Do you not know what that is?" And then Lord West went, "Can you not read what that is?" And I occasionally have emails with him these days. He's still in emails to this day. If he puts a date in, he uses, every single time.
I don't remember it. I'm very sorry.
I really remember it. I'm not going to forget that.
Okay, the worst thing I've ever done, which I didn't remember, my mum reminded me of this, and it shows you again what a horrible person I really am, was that I told my younger sister, who's 7 years younger than me, that some of the puddles didn't have bottoms, but only I knew which ones you could jump in and which ones you couldn't.
Right.
So I rolled her puddle jumping behavior. Which is really horrible. I destroyed every bit of innocence of my sister. Maybe it's about time I said sorry, Claire.
This is the forum to do it on. This is the place. So let's get to an object. And to do so, let us explain that you are on Show Us Your Shit. This is a show where we see awesome shit. So what are you going to show us?
Right, hold on. Right, I'm in my reading room, as I now call it.
Cool. Nice.
Okay, this is what I've done. You're going to love this. I've gone through my freezer to work out what's in so that we're cooking properly. But transpires that scientists you scrape the surface, and we're very much into arts and crafts.
Okay.
Now, I made
a Teletubby.
Yeah, I made a paper mache head. Now, my cat's coming. Oh, sorry. Alfie? Oh, there he is. It was interesting because I'm telling you that because actually what I keep given, which is what the Teletubby head is hats. And, oh, look, there's my cat. Alfie.
Hey, Alfie.
He's not paying attention. So all these Tajik hats.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they are cool, but I'm going to have to run down the garden because I've left the dress in the bottom of the garden. Talk amongst yourselves.
Are the foxes still there?
Oh, no, they've stopped. Okay. Oh, the cat's now not happy. I'm about to really embarrass myself for you lot because I'm going to put on this dress.
Oh, cool. Nice.
It's not.
Big finale to the show.
It looks like I've got enormous bosoms. That's the only... I tried Curator friends earlier, and one of them was crying so badly. So I'm not sure if that was a good sign or a bad sign. Right.
So when's the last time you went on an adventure with Sandy Knapp, who is the potato lady at the museum? Oh, you've gone out of range. She's gone out of range.
Sandy Knapp, okay, to people, she's arguably the most amazing woman that you could possibly meet. And when she got cancer, she decided that wasn't enough. She was like, oh, it's just an interfering bunch of abnormal cells, and I'm not going to worry about them. Like, everyone else would be like, oh, God. But no, Sandy was like, this is just a mere inconvenience. And you can read, she's just done a lovely blog on the NHM website. Okay, so read about Sandy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Right. I hate you.
Is she doing okay? I didn't know she was ill.
You know, she's fine. She's come
Right.
out the other side. She's
Great.
amazing. But Sandy, and therefore she is. Sandy Knapp is the queen of potatoes.
Yes, that's what she's known as. She's Queen of Potatoes.
Yes, she's the potato queen. You can't move the Solanaceae without knowing Sandy Knapp. And Sandy and I spent 3 years going back and forth to Peru, hunting wild potatoes.
Very cool.
It was very cool. There were some roads of death. One of the roads, it was great. I do a lot of field work in weird places, and one of our the Peruvian who was with us, he was going, "Oh, Erica, that's a very bad road," and I'm like, "We've been on roads 5,000 meters up, sheer cliffs, dropping down, near death every time. This isn't a bad road." And he's like, "It's a really bad road," and I'm like, "It's not a bad road." And he goes, "There's men with guns." Okay, that's a bad road. That's anyway.
And Sandy's discovered new potatoes, right? Like you've discovered new flies.
Oh, she's a potato queen.
But I thought there were like 6 potatoes, to be honest. I didn't realize, and she's found more than 6.
Yeah, no, because potatoes and tomatoes are the same genus.
Uh-huh.
Australia, I love Australia. Australia's so lazy, they produced a plant that has potatoes and tomatoes on it. Now, I also, as well as going to Peru, I went to Tajikistan for 3 years back and forth because we are incriminating mosquitoes for malaria. Next Soviet country. So I went to a weapons of mass destruction conference, which was a bit weird. We're talking about biological control. And George from Georgia stood up and was talking about weaponizing wheat crops. So the whole thing is, what you do is you produce an F1, the first generation, a sterile hybrid, and then you wind pollinate these. So you get an aeroplane, you pull this seed and it pollinates. And then basically the population starves to death.
Right.
Terrible. Till I in the back I was like, oh God, they're serial killers. So try not to giggle because I'm like, oh my God, that's. But anyway, I'm in Tajikistan, and they like to honor people by giving them presents, and they kept giving me dresses, right? I don't know which one you want. I'm gonna do the one with shoulder pads.
I really didn't think that this show was going to go down this road. This is so exciting.
It's not exciting.
It is exciting. This is awesome.
What do you do when you've been given things and they're like, can we wear them at closing ceremonies? And I'm like, no, because...
Wicked.
Like, what? Did God say? I'm like, okay, now this is one. It's not so bad.
That's cool. That looks awesome.
With the hat.
So they have to go with the hat. Oh, Erica, why is that not your everyday look? That's Curator Albus Dumbledore. That is rocking.
Okay, can I do the velour one? The velour one.
Yep.
So this was the girls, the curator chat earlier's favourite. They like this one. But I like the velour one. Just because it's very sleeky and it's got like rhinestones, and I've got a bit of a thing for Dolly.
Uh-huh.
So,
cool.
I mean, who doesn't want a rhinestone out? Is this what you expected from Fly Girl? So
This has gone down a whole different territory. I'm so happy.
cool stuff like
we need like in a classic 90s movie, we need you sort of coming out and all of us giving you the thumbs up or thumbs down to some really exciting da 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 music.
Do you know how many years of education and it's resulted in this?
Someone's asking if you have a fan club. I think that's a really good question. We should sort that out if you don't. Oh, yes. What's the design on that? That looks like there's an animal, or it's like a sort of universe kind of vibe, like the Aurora Borealis.
Just everything it started. Can you remember? Feel that velour?
That's like, cool.
I'm about to over. It's like, look at me. I'm the solar. Yeah. That is been worn in 20 years. This is like,
Wow. Have
yeah.
so you don't wear them anywhere? That feels like a missed opportunity for absolutely owning parties.
There should be, we theme our museum parties at Christmas, okay?
Yeah.
And what, you know, we do famous people, blah blah. We should probably do 1 year's which field trips, and then
Yes.
which country, and then we can all, and we have to declare all of this because we're paid by you. We're government employees, so we have to declare all gifts.
Right.
God forbid that I'll be stealing.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap up now. I don't know how we're going to top that. So, this is the mysterious bit of my title that you won't know. So, show us your shit or some Shakespeare, a pair of pajamas, and a mutton chop. Now, back when PG Wodehouse was living in France, he and his wife discovered that they were being that the Nazis were on the way to their house to arrest them, and they had 10 minutes to get out of the house. So PG Woodhouse's wife got a suitcase, and she said, "Grab everything that's essential." So the question is, what do you take when you leave your house and you got 10 minutes to go? What are the things you can't leave without? He took a copy of Shakespeare, some pajamas, and a mutton chop. It's the only 3 things that he took. So in this little scenario, you're going to get that suitcase, but there's room just for one extra thing. Of all the things you've shown us, of all the things you own, what is the one thing you'd put in the suitcase and take away with you?
Oh, it's in my bedroom. You wait. I'm going to run down and I'll show you.
Yeah, fine. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, we're going to have to. Okay.
This is the 3rd time. I've only done this 3 times where I've asked that question at the end, and every single time it's an object that no one's mentioned during the show where I've asked you to show us your most interesting shit.
No, and it's my most personal shit.
Ah, okay. I need to do a sideshow, which is show me your most personal shit.
Yeah, it's my most. It's got a prolapsed womb. It's fine. Now this thing.
Someone saying Bogner. Ventmark saying Bogner fridge magnet.
God. Don't take that. You're right.
Yeah, good point. Good call.
You know, that is really good call because I could sneak that in and no one would realise. Okay, right. So this. Oh God, look. Okay. This is Panda.
Oh yeah.
Right, Panda. She's got one of her eyes is burnt out. Mum had to sew her tongue in because her mouth got burnt out. See, look at her eye there.
Yeah. Hey, Panda.
And she's got this prolapsed womb because she used to be a pajama case.
Yeah.
Do you ever got given a pajama case?
No. I mean, I know what a pajama. Oh no, sorry, pajama case. So cool.
You stuff your pajamas in there during the day, so it's a teddy pajama case. And this thing is rather old, and she burnt her paws off. I like to say she did all this, but I went through various things. So she's older than most people. But look at her.
And this is what you'd take.
Yeah.
Very handy for the pajamas that are already in the suitcase. So that's nice.
Your pajamas, they're already in there.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it.
Love it. What a great thing to steal away. Okay, well, let's wrap up. Before we do wrap up, everyone should be following you on every bit of social media. So you're on Instagram, so your name's obviously here, but I see you more on Twitter, really, which you're.
So I love it. So it's just flies and really bad jokes.
Yeah, no, they're awesome jokes. What is it? It's at Flygirl NHM. Is that your handle on Twitter? Sorry,
yeah,
you just
Flygirl.
Yeah, Flygirl NHM. And if like people who are now seeing you, if they go to the NHM, will they see you walking around? Do you ever walk around amongst the civilians, or you?
Coffee in the afternoon, and I walk across the museum, and you can see me going, and I try and guess people by their looks. So I have a whole game, and then if I'm wearing headphones, it's usually because I'm listening to something like Rocky, I like to listen to like really dramatic music, walking through the theme, in Top Gun.
Yeah.
I like to stride. That sort of like crap.
Amazing.
Or AC/DC, and I'm like, yeah. So it depends what I'm doing. You could see by my mood, by how I'm struck.
And can you be interrupted when that's happening, or don't go near you when you got Top Gun going?
It depends. If I look like I've got, that face, that face is like, okay, she just doesn't. But other faces like, yeah, I'm like, hi. I get a bit embarrassed if you go, hi. So I'll probably do something really embarrassing. But
That's so cool. That's so cool. Thank you so much for doing this, Erica. I only asked Erica, like to 2 p.m. or something. I don't know what time it was today. So thanks so much for saying yes to doing this. And just for everyone who's been watching it, thanks for tuning in. Going to do this again tomorrow night. Don't know who's going to be on the show, but it'll be someone awesome. I'm sure I'll be able to find someone. And then on Monday, it's going to be my buddy Jamie Morton of My Dad Wrote a Porno, who, Erica, you met at my book launch.
I love him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's really good fun.
Yeah.
Get him story about his grandma, because that's still my favourite.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a few stories he can't tell on the show, but that might be one of them, but I'll ask him. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have Jane Milligan on, who's an actor, and she's the daughter of Spike Milligan. And she has in her attic, she's been going through it today, just memorabilia from the whole history of his life, his art, his poetry, his time with the Goons, and just general comedy memorabilia. So that's going to be amazing. And then we're going to be taking a break on Wednesday because my wife and I are having a baby. So we will be away having a child. And then we will be back. I don't know when, but when we're back, I hope you guys will come back. In the meantime, I'm going to post a thing again like I did yesterday, which is going to say, okay, Shit Club, show us your shit. And if everyone can if they've thought of anything that they own, they're inspired to suddenly realize they have an interesting thing in their house, can you leave a comment there? And I'd love to show it at the top of tomorrow's show. And let's come up with a logo, and let's just do a lot of stuff. I want this to be a big party now. So great. Okay, cool. Have an awesome night, everyone. Erica, I love you. Thank you so much for doing this again, and catch you all around. See you later.